అందరి అమ్మాయిల్లా పెద్ద పెద్ద కలలు కనలేదు. కన్న కల మాత్రం సాధించి తీరింది. ఆర్మీలో చేరి దేశానికి సేవ చేయాలని అనుకుంది. కానీ తన ఆరోగ్యం అందుకు సహకరించదని తెలిసినా ఏమాత్రం నిరాశ చెందలేదు. నచ్చిన మరో రంగంలోకి అడుగుపెట్టింది. అయితే విజయం సులభంగా దరిచేరదు కదా. ఎన్నో ఏళ్లు కష్టపడింది. ఓటములు ఎదురయ్యాయి. నిరాశ చెందలేదు. పడిపోయిన ప్రతిసారి రెట్టించిన ఉత్సాహంతో ముందుకు సాగింది. దీంతో విజయం తన ముందు మోకరిల్లింది. ఆ విజయంతో ప్రపంచ స్థాయి పోటీలకు ఎంపికైంది. తనే మిస్ గ్రాండ్ ఇండియా 2022 ప్రాచి నాగ్పాల్. తన జీవితంలో ఎదురైన ఆ సంఘటనలేంటో ఆమె మాటల్లోనే విందామా?
7 ఏళ్లుగా బ్యూటీ పాజెంట్ రంగంలో ఉంటూ వివిధ బ్యూటీ పాజెంట్ పోటీల్లో పాల్గొంటూ ఎట్టకేలకు మిస్ గ్రాండ్ ఇండియా టైటిల్ను సంపాదించుకున్నారు ప్రాచి నాగ్పాల్. ఇప్పుడు ఆవిడ మనతో ఉన్నారు. ఆవిడని అడిగి దానికి సంబంధించిన విషయాలు ఆవిడనే తెలుసుకుందాం. Hi, Prachi.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. I hope everyone home is also doing great.
So how do you feel being the winner of this beauty Miss Grand India beauty pageant?
I think even now, although it's been 10 days, the feeling of being India has not sunk in. I'm still trying to digest the fact that I would be the responsibility of our great nation and be representing India internationally.
Being a winner is also great, but being a winner and also being diabetic is different. You also have this condition, you are diabetic. So how do you manage things with being diabetic?
So when it comes to having type 1 diabetes, I feel like the most important and crucial aspects to keep in mind, for me especially, would be that I need to keep in mind what I'm eating, what time am I eating at, what kind of workout am I doing, how many times am I working out, and also the fact that I have to make sure that I'm taking the right amount of insulin. Because in my case, in type 1 diabetes, or anybody else with type 1 diabetes, insulin is a must. If we do not take insulin, then our lives would not be there.
So when did you find out that you're a type 1 diabetic and how hard was it for you?
So it was in 2013, and quite literally 2 months before my board exams of the 10th grade that I found out that I'm type 1 diabetic. This just happened because I was losing a lot of weight. I was using the washroom a lot, which are signs of somebody being type 1 diabetic, that you need to be very careful in really understanding these signs. So because my grandparents already had diabetes, but that is a type 2 diabetes. So my mother just randomly on a Sunday said that, come, let's check your sugars. And it was around 7 a.m. in the morning. So we just checked my sugars and they were at 326. Which is abnormal for a normal human being. The range should be between 90 to 120 early morning. So in that moment, we got really scared and we went to the doctor. He got a couple of tests done for us. And that's when he told us that I'm type 1 diabetic. So I didn't even have a single moment to really understand that my life for the rest of my life is now going to change. So it's been very difficult because I had to change my dream from becoming an army doctor to then joining into fashion. And then even then to be able to travel, because I've had 2 diabetic coma experiences, that my parents were really skeptical whether we should send her outside the city for studies. So that's a decision I'm glad that they decided to keep me here in Hyderabad, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do so many things that I ended up doing over here. But I think being in NIFT Hyderabad was a big blessing for me. It made me learn so many new things. It made me fall in love with my city all over again.
So the judges usually ask for your hidden or special talents at the end of the beauty pageant. So what was your special talent, or is your special talent?
So I've learned Kathak for 9 years, but I've been practicing apart from learning the last 6 years, because I've taken a complete diploma, which is equivalent to finishing my 10th grade high school in Kathak. And after that, with the blessings of my gurus and my teachers, I've been practicing for the last 6 years on my own. So that was what I did. I performed Kathak in front of the judges, and I performed Pandit Birju Maharaj's song, Dhai Sham Rokle, which Madhuri Dixit is an epitome when it comes to expressions, but I did dare to try that song and really do justice.
How do you manage your fitness? How do you manage being fit?
I have struggled with weight issues all my life, prior to diabetes also and after I got diagnosed with diabetes. And the one thing that I have learned is that eating the right kind of things and also putting in enough time and effort to be able to work out is what matters. Now, in my case, I do yoga, I do Pilates, and I do EMS. These are three things that have worked for me. But I do have my coach in Delhi. He has been training me virtually.
How does it feel being on stage and representing India among between 71 other countries?
I think now that I'm a part of the Miss Grand International organization and I have a responsibility towards 1.4 billion people in our country. So when I go there now, I know I will not be called as Prachi anymore. I will be called as India. So each and every small action, small thing that I do would be a question or an answer on what India as a country is like. It's a big responsibility, but one that I have been training for all my life. My NCC experience, my leadership qualities, it is all that will come into place now in this next 1 month when I have to make sure that India is at its best.
How did your parents feel after you winning this title, and how was their support from their end?
So when I first told my parents that this is something that I want to do, I want to be a part of the beauty pageant industry, my parents were very supportive because they knew that I do have the capability to be a part of this, to be a winner. But it, of course, wasn't easy down the road. I have given 7 years of my life to really be here where I am today. And when it comes to really having them that day when I won, so my mother and father, I could see them right in front of me, and right before my name was announced, I just said a prayer that, okay, if this is supposed to happen, then make it happen in front of them today, here, right now. Because my father for the first time came that day and he has never been to even annual functions from my school. So I wanted to do this for him. And then when I finally won, my mother, she was blowing whistles over there and my father was just standing there with his chest out in pride. And that feeling and that moment was that just meant the world to me.
You've been trying to get this title since the past 7 years. So have you ever felt at one point of your life, have you ever felt demotivated for a little bit at least?
So every time I have faced failure, especially in beauty pageants, every time I have auditioned, of course you feel like maybe it's not for you, maybe you're not going to make it that day. But every time, every year that I have given up and I thought that, okay, let's go back to doing your studies, your MBA and whatnot, it was my mother who kept saying that you've seen this dream and not many girls actually have the courage to see this dream. So if you've seen it, why are you backing out? Till you have age on your side, just give it a try. Let's see if it has to happen, it will happen. And if it wasn't for my mother or her kind words, her motivational words, then I don't think I would have continued to give auditions year after year.
And I've also heard that you wanted to be in army.
Yes.
What do you have to say anything about that?
So in school, when I was studying in the 9th grade, our school had brought in the NCC course. And as a person who was growing up as a child, I was always fascinated with history. So I always knew that if I have to die in this lifetime, it would be by serving my nation. And at that time, I didn't really consider pageants so seriously. So I did think that, okay, if I join the NCC, if I take training, then I might as well join the army as a doctor, because my parents wanted me to be a doctor and I wanted to serve the nation. So why not a combination of the two? But then once I got my diabetes diagnosis, I was told that it's not possible because for a diabetic, life is very different and you cannot take that risk when you're protecting your nation. So that is when I decided that, okay, if not the army, then I have to find another way where I can actually serve my nation.
Do you have anything to suggest to people or girls or women out there who are into the same industry, beauty pageant industry? Do you have anything to motivate them?
One thing that I would definitely like to say is that it's never too late. Especially now we have so many Mrs. pageants also. There are even teen pageants, Miss pageants. So it's never too late and it's never too early. If you feel that this is where you want to see yourself on that stage, hearing that applause, then I would say go give it a try, because no failure is so big in life. I would say just take that first step, because that is the toughest step to take. But if you've managed to do that, then trust me, the path that's going to be after this, it's only going to get easier for you.
One final question. Where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? What's your final target or the target in the next 5 years?
I think in the next 5 years, I see myself as an entrepreneur. And as a type 1 diabetic girl, I want to be able to raise more awareness about type 1 diabetes because this is still something that people are not aware about. There's a lot of stigma in the society even today. And that is my main focus right now because behind me, there is an army of type 1 diabetics who I represent, not just in India, but across the globe. I have people that I'm friends with from Panama. I have friends in the US. I have friends in Australia. So I have a responsibility towards all of these kids and especially kids in the rural areas of our country, and also be able to help the young girls who've not been able to be a part of pageant industry because in South right now we don't have any academy, we don't have anything that trains and grooms these girls for these pageants, and I'm hoping that I can be one of those few girls who can bring that change here.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అండ్ ఐ హోప్ దట్ డ్రీమ్ కమ్స్ ట్రూ వెరీ సూన్. సో ఇది మిస్ గ్రాండ్ ఇండియా టైటిల్ విజేత ప్రాచీ నాగ్పాల్ చెప్తున్న విషయాలు. డయాబెటీస్ ఉండి కూడా నేను ఇంత సాధించాను అంటే మీరు ఇంకా ఏదైనా సాధించగలరు అని అంటున్నారు ప్రాచీ నాగ్పాల్. కెమెరామెన్ మహేష్తో వాణి, ఈటీవీ న్యూస్, హైదరాబాద్.